Hey guys, Scott here, Pine Barren Craftsman. I wanted to do a quick run through the engine compartment because I think it's probably the coolest part of the truck. I'll go right to it. And I wanted to just, I just follow up on a little video so you guys aren't really wondering what's going on because I'm really stuck here with the wind and the weather. I got a lot of snowdrifts still up against the house. And for me to get this downstairs to the other garage is going to be a pain. It's going to be a little while. So it's going to be up here for a couple weeks. But I wanted to talk about it. So let's just start right off in the bat here with whatever's close. We'll go with the radiator. So this is a DeWitt's brand radiator made in the USA. All right. It has extra tubes in it to give it more capacity. So it has the same cooling capacity of like a 3-core radiator. And I did that because I wanted to not have a big aluminum radiator sitting in there. I wanted it to look more factory. I wanted this truck to look like, clean. Things are not standing out, staring at you. There was a couple of things that I did to the truck that were changed. Number one is the MSD box, okay? Typically, guys put it back there on the firewall, and I thought about putting it on the firewall because it was actually a nice flat surface out of the way. But when I had originally ran it, I tucked the wire loom into the fender cavity back behind that. And if you see here, there's a couple of old bolts here, drill holes, where I had it mounted right in this area. And, one or the other, doesn't really matter. I think it was a matter of preference there, an aesthetic for both sides. So he changed that. I'm okay with it. Probably leave it where it is. And he also added a big ground cable, which I'm not really sure if that's going to help at all because a ground is a ground is a ground, I think. I would be more concerned about if the original mount there wasn't rusted, maybe put some dielectric grease there. But I had run the ground cable from the battery to the frame to the block. And then I had body grounds under the valve covers from the factory body mount grounds. And I think I even had one up here too, up by the battery. So there's plenty of ground, I think. I might lose that cable just because it kind of to me, it kind of adds extra stuff in here. We'll see. I'm going to pull that out, I think. Nice guy, though, and I understand the point. He was going to switch to LEDs, he's saying, so maybe he heard that it would be good to have a good heavy ground there. So now, talking about the serpentine belt system here, this is the CVF Racing setup from Jegs. And I got it because I wanted you to see the top of the engine clean. I hated to see big accessories and they get really wide and out in space. And I feel like the shorter the belt, the cleaner it is. So I decided to go with that in all black. And it's hard to see because the lighting is horrible in here, but it's all black, alternator, power steering, water pump. And I did run the heater hoses. I wanted to have something clean that was mounted because a lot of times they just go from the water pump and they just kind of hang across the valve covers. I really wanted them down and out of the way and secured. And that leads me to the whole flavor of this whole build that I did. If you notice, I wanted all the ignition wires to be clean and out of the way. And I spent money on this aluminum rail system and these, very expensive custom made wires. These are 8.5 or 8.1. No, I'm sorry, 8.0 suppression, I believe. I don't remember. I said it in the last video. But there's a jacket on them that's insulating it as well. And I cut them. I gave them the specs for the lengths on each one. So I custom made them, and then they made them at the shop with 45-degree bends on them. So these are what 45-degree bends look like on these hooker headers. I went with hooker headers. They're rusting a little bit after being garage kept for since 2017. This truck was out in the rain for, I think, 6 months, probably through the summer last year. But I put the wires behind everything, tucked them up high, out of the way. because I wanted to show off the valve covers. I like the valve covers. The air cleaner was a kit. You know, I don't even remember how I got the valve cover under that booster. I don't think there's any way in hell I was able to get that. I think the booster's got to be loose to get that valve cover off. Obviously, with these Chevy trucks, you got no problem with steering, encountering the headers. I did have to hammer one of the headers. We could talk about that in another video. Down below, I have a high volume oil pump, and I hate hammering headers, man, but I had to hammer a header to get around that one divot. I bought this cool swivel thermostat housing, so it can go in any direction. Clean, 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 man. I mean, I know you guys are looking at it, you're probably like, wow, this guy really went nuts with making sure everything was clean. It's just an engine, but, you know, I painted the block myself after the engine builder built it. I helped him, but at the end of the day, he really just did it all himself. I told him my specs, and he built it. And it's kind of like what you do when you go to a professional, you kind of just let them run with it. So the blaster coil is mounted back there by the distributor, out of the way, so you don't have anything standing around with the wire flopping. Stainless steel brake lines through the whole truck. All new rubber lines. All new, you can see here, upper and lower control arms. These are Performance Online tubular upper and lower control arms with a lowering bucket under here to bring the bucket down. See how the spring is lower there? That's where they got the little bit of drop there. And then I have a 2-inch drop spindle and then a 1-inch drop spring. I had another inch on the spring and it was too low in front because of the weight of the engine. MSD 6AL box. I have another box with a double pickup on it. So I got to see about what that does if I want to switch it out. So I have here, let me take the air cleaner off. This is where the business happens. Now, there's been a lot of conversation about switching over to fuel injection on these new Holley kits or these new fast fuel or whatever they're called kits. I was thinking about it. You know, you got to put an AFR, air fuel ratio gauge, you know, and you can see if you're running lean or rich versus looking at the plugs. This truck was running pretty good. I was reading the plugs a lot. I probably put new plugs in it now. It's been there for a while. But this is a Holley XP that I did a rebuild on, I want to say a year ago, just from it sitting with the ethanol fuel from Jersey in it. It was all gummed up, and as well, the original installation of the jets wasn't done by me. It was done by a carb shop. I think he was just eyeballing what he wanted to do, and the whole gasket was like kinked and pinched in a weird way. So it was probably like almost going to leak from the day I got it. So I rebuilt it and got new gaskets. Very snappy, very responsive. It is a mechanical secondary. No vacuum secondary, so it runs just on linkage. So it's not the most forgiving carburetor for road, street driving, but this was pretty much go fast, you know what I mean? Take it out, have fun. That's why it's got a single plane intake, air gap intake here. It's a Holley. It's a Holley. Okay. And, you know, I picked the orange because I wanted it to stand out. I think I could have went with like a blue color for these years for the Chevy engines. What else can I say about the truck? It's got the high torque starter. It has a high volume fuel pump dealing with the high velocity of fuel that it needs, I guess, when it's wide open throttle. The truck, I did the same thing I did downstairs on the Trans Am as I put the ground close to the electric fans. And I don't know. This wasn't zip tied to the rad. This was a whole rad support that bolted to the original shroud location. So I like that a lot better than what I did with the Trans Am. This Earl's, I have an Earl's trans cooler in here, and that's all AN fittings in there. Okay, I think that was a 12-inch or 13-inch trans cooler. Awesome. I mean, it mounted right in there. This radiator did not have the preheater provision. So if I wanted to run it in and out of the rad, I don't even have a provision for that. So truck has not let me down yet. It hasn't been in my care, but I know it's been taken care of. I can show you more about it as we go. I want to tell you something too. The PCV, I always get them confused. Yep, PCV valve. I'm not running one on this engine. And the engine builder said you could run it. It'll vent the crankcase atmosphere, the gas that builds up in there, and moisture. My plan was to change the oil more often, and I put 4 breathers on this engine, if you notice. They're a very restrictive breather, so I do get some burps of oil steam, and you get some oil smell in the cab sometimes when you get on it, and they do tend to secrete. So once in a while, you got to wipe it down outside the engine. You get a little drip here and there on the valve cover, but that's what he had told me to do, right? So, and the carb that I got did not have a provision for that. I believe. I don't believe it's plugged. No, there's nothing in the front. Yeah, there was nothing. This is pretty much a race application type of setup. Now, he told me that it's set to 32 degrees. I told you that. But by ear, when she fires up and she's hot, she gets a little, and then she goes. I'm not sure if that's still the case now. I might want to check it. And he said that there was more meat left in it. But like I said, this is a this is a flat tapping cam. I'm running high zinc oil in it. I'm not going to talk about anything else on the truck besides what I talked about today. This is the first video. I don't want to get too long-winded. And there was some rust repair done on the firewall that I did. Just a very small spot on these trucks. They rot. Very little bit was there. These are all new fenders, inner fender wells. The front grill is all original. The bumper's an original. The hardest thing about these trucks is, you guys, when you buy things off LMC or wherever I bought Classic Industries, is the import fenders. They don't line up. And I'm going to show you. This is probably the most hard thing to deal with these trucks. Or any vehicle that you're going to get aftermarket body panels with. Let me just put this back on so nobody jumps in here. Let me know what you guys think about the valve covers and if you like this style. I wanted to do a 70s period correct look, but I think that this is more of a modern, spin on the finned valve covers, the finned air cleaner. They're pretty restrictive. So if I did go race, I would probably lose this air cleaner for the race application and go to a, an open topped filter up here. Like this would be all open up here. They did a episode on Motor Trend, Freiberger and Finn from Roadkill Garage. They had a Engine Masters series, and he said that being open up here is a lot better than closed. So, but aesthetically, this is a car show truck too. I'm not really hitting the drag strip, so I wanted to show it off. We have a drag strip we're going to run up here. I'm getting in touch with some people that telling me that there is some old airports and stuff that have been converted to tracks. But this is the killer right here. Okay, my finger's pushing. This is the help I might need from you guys. Okay, there's a gap there, and it might never go away because of the fender, this Chinese fender. No matter what I do, this is a new hood from LMC. Those are new hinges that he put on. I feel like I want to drop the hinge down a little bit itself, the whole hinge down in, if I got to waller out the holes there. But, before you paint a truck, the body's got to look right. And if I paint it any more than it is, like that one's down and this one's up slightly. So that's down and back. So I got to do some finagling. Uh-oh. Looks like there's a dent here. Oh, boy. Yep. There's a little ripple there. That's new. Oh, well. Like I said, they're LMC fenders. I wonder if he bottomed out over a bump or something, which is the case here. If you have a big block and you send it over a gap, you might jam that fender up. Body bump. Not a big deal. I'm not worried about it. He pulled the wood bed that I had in here. I had a Trex bed out in here. It wasn't really in the best. So, the light's not working here. That's my fuel cell. I'm going to get some cedar boards or some pine from up here. Someone's going to cut up a tree for me, and I'd like to have it set up for that. This bed was never smashed or hit, so it's clean and straight. These are aftermarket side fenders, aftermarket steps, aftermarket bumper, which, you know, we could talk about this all day, but I was thinking about hacking this bumper and sliding it in a little bit. Maybe I'll splice it here and take out 6-8 inches just to bring this in a little bit, because I feel like these are like knee grabbers. Like if this light wasn't here, I'm going to bash my knee on that thing. It's way out there like a sailboat. I made these racks myself out of 2x4s. I ran them through my table saw, hence the Craftsman. I put a little 45 on this, and I cut the 2x4, I think down the middle, and I made all the things to fit perfect. So very little wiggle in here. You know, it's tight, it's right. I think I might have had like a shim in here at one time, so it didn't even rattle. And I used the Craig tool screws, and it lasted for a long time, man. It looks great. I think I did the burn look to it, but it was in the weather, so it started to crack on me because it is only just regular 2x4. And it's the rustic look. If you guys don't like it, you like it, let me know. I think it adds something to the truck because the beds on these the beds on these trucks are lower than I think where the fleet side land. I think the square body bed comes up a little bit more here, I want to say. And I know where the step lands, it's up. See how the step from the bottom of the rocker is up a little bit? I always wanted to extend that down slightly to make it all one continuous piece. I have these wheels were the factory wheels. There's a guy in Jersey, he might still be doing it. He widens your stock steel wheels. He put 2 inches spacer ring in there and made it from an 8-inch wheel to a 10-inch wide. And it's got the offset I like. I wanted to match the offset so that it's not in so far or sticking out. It needed to be perfect, and it is perfect in my opinion. I wanted it to match what this was doing here. Okay? There's no dent here. So I want to say that this might have just been a buckle of some kind. We can get it out. Maybe that's why the MSD box was moved. Maybe there was a dent there, and they pulled the MSD and mounted it to the firewall and pulled the fender off. No big deal. Not mad at the guy. He had a lot of work to do with the truck. Let me see here. I had some stickers here. I had an NRA sticker. I had a PBA sticker for a guy in Jackson, New Jersey. I had a Loon sticker, and I had another main sticker there. Interior light works. He put the flashlight stopped working, man. Everything goes out. Hopefully you guys aren't getting too dizzy. If you're staying with me this long, got the power washer in the way. Get out of the way. There we go. Dirty. My leg's stuck. Ow. All right. So he got these new gauges here. That's like the big deal I want to show off, I guess. They all work nice. New steering wheel. New seat. Very cushy. He put this aluminum strip in here. I had a wood grain strip. If you look at some of the other videos, he went with that look. There was a dash pad on here that I pulled that off. I wasn't into the dash pad. There's no reason to hide the dash because it's in beautiful shape. This is all black LMC dash pad. I think he's got new wing windows. Smells nice. This crazy steering wheel with these little rubbles on the back. I feel like muscle. I feel like I'm a muscle head holding on to that, like muscle car stuff. It's a new look. I mean, I like the wood grain steering wheel with the wood grain panel. You let me know what you think. If I should switch it or just leave it because it's in here and it's nice and tight and right. And, you know, something to offset the wood in the bed when I get the wood done. All right, guys. I said I wasn't going to go into more detail, and I did. Because I really, obviously, am excited about the truck. I like the bigger mirrors. A lot of guys put the sport mirrors on it. I feel like it's in the right proportion for the truck. Oh, look. He put new lock pulls. Looks like little bullet shells. These fenders have the holes for the factory emblems still. One thing that throws you off is the chrome bezels around the blinkers. I've had them painted black with like smoked spray paint. I've had them just clear. I've had them yellow. I've messed around a lot with the front of this truck. I've had the whole grille silver. I've had this white and white with black. So I'm trying to figure out like what's the best color scheme. I think blacked out is pretty much the way it is, man. You know, you let me know what I can do with this gap. All right, I can see through it here. You know, giving you the thickness. I could jam my finger into it. The wipers are almost in contact with the cowl hood. You know, LMC. I think this hood was outside with that primer coat on it, and that's why we're getting this kind of rust coming through. I don't know if it's rust or just heavy, heavy water spots. I wiped the truck down yesterday, and it didn't come off. This is turbo tip Rust-Oleum. In case you guys are wondering like how I painted it. When I painted it, it came out pretty clean. No tiger stripe with the spray paint. Because that turbo tip was pretty wide. But I think I'm going to redo everything. I'm going to figure out this fender apparently. It's got a good wibble in it, man. $100 fender, man. No big deal. Maybe I'll get 2 GM fenders. And then just leave the aftermarket hood. And then do a paint job on it. He's got a door here, like I said. He's got a nice GM door. So maybe I could get a door, get another door, because this one's a little hokey. See, I'm spending money. You let me know. You guys like step sides or what? You guys are step side people? You like fleet side? No disrespect to either community. I think it's all got its place and purpose. We got the snappers here. Hold on. Oh, watch out. My kid will love them. If you guys watch this long, I really appreciate it. I'm not bragging about the truck. I'm sharing it because I love the truck. I worked hard on it. You can tell I got a lot of money into the motor, and there's more underneath. There's Caltrax in here. Those are like $400 or $500 a couple years ago. There's a full-built 12-bolt rear. There's mandrel bent stainless steel MagnaFlow exhaust. That was done by Mufflex in Trenton, New Jersey. There's Western chassis rear leaf springs with a little bit of a raise up in the back on the shackle. So if I do a bed, I got to watch out for that where this leaf spring comes up. I didn't do different hangers, and I didn't do a notch kit because it wasn't needed. The truck is not that low. You could really slam these trucks. And another reason why I like a step side is it's easy to put a bigger tire inboard here. I have another 3 inches before I encounter 4 or 5 inches before I hit that leaf spring. So if I wanted to go with a really big tire back here, I could just by cutting a little bit of the bed out of the way and making a little box here. Boop, boop, and I could put a bigger tire. These meats, let's see what we got. I mean, they're thin for the motor I got here. What do we got? I got a set of drag radials downstairs for it. What size are these? They are 275 60-15s. 275 60-15s. And these are sport features. And these 275 6015s. So they're both the same, front and back. Downstairs, I have a set of Mickey Thompson's. I don't remember what size they were, but they were pretty much a little bit taller and a little bit wider, but they're on a narrow rim. I can't talk. 15 by 9 rim, which are the Weld Slingers, which I love those wheels from the 90s, you know, for the drag strip. I don't know, you let me know. Should I put some Kraggers on here? Should I keep these wheels and put the beauty rings on them? There's like an outer ring I got downstairs. Should I add a little bit of chrome to it? Should I keep it all black? I think black is cool. I want to put the door logo there. I don't know, some speed stickers. Just enjoy it, right? It's back. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate if you made it this far. This is a whole little walk around to the truck. I rushed through it. I should have waited till I got it cleaned up a little better for you guys, but it's all part of being honest with this channel here. I want to show you what I'm doing. Show them what you know, man. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.